Good afternoon, happy Aloha Friday, and happy St. Patrick's Day. We begin today with the growing concern many Americans have about the money in their bank account as a third regional bank is bailed out.
That's right. This time it was the banks themselves that gave a multi-billion-dollar lifeline to the regional bank, First Republic. This is the third rescue of a regional bank in less than a week. 11 major banks injected $30 billion into the California-based bank, saying the cash infusion was to show confidence in the country's banking system. As of yesterday, the Federal Reserve said it has already loaned out around $12 billion this week to cash-strapped banks through its emergency lending facility. Meanwhile, President Biden is calling on Congress to pass tough new penalties on executives of failed banks. The administration says it wants to expand the FDIC's ability to get back compensation from executives who lead failed banks. It also wants to be able to bar them from holding future jobs in the industry and to impose civil fines against them. CBS News has confirmed the Justice Department launched an investigation this week looking into the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank in California. The Wall Street Journal reports the firm's CEO and CFO both sold stocks just days before the bank's failure. And for more on this, we're joined now by Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent John Decker. Now, John, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is assuring lawmakers that the U.S. banking system remains sound, but did those words calm the financial markets?
The financial markets actually are not calm just yet. If you look at what happened, for instance, just today, the Dow fell by nearly 400 points. Another bank lost a significant percentage of its stock price. That's Republic National Bank in New York, that had to be infused with a significant amount of cash from other lending institutions, other banks, and indeed other mid-range banks. Other regional banks also saw declines in their stock prices. So Janet Yellen is correct. There's nothing for people to be concerned about if they have their money in a federally chartered bank, and all banks are federally chartered. And that would mean that your deposits are insured up to $250,000. But it has not been a good week at all for small and medium-sized banks.
Got it. So people should not be worried about their own money in banks, is what Janet Yellen is saying.
No, that is the bottom line. That is correct. They should not be concerned about their deposits, their ability to get the deposits that they have in their bank, wherever that is.
Okay, going on to other political news now. The House Oversight Committee released new information on the investigation into Hunter Biden. What information did the committee release, and has there been any reaction from Hunter Biden?
Yes, we're talking about Congressman James Comer. He's the chair of the House Oversight Committee. He released a memo yesterday with some of the findings, a summary of the findings based upon their preliminary investigation. What he's found is that Hunter Biden and several other members of the Biden family, not Joe Biden, the president, they received $1.3 million based upon a business deal that Hunter Biden had with a friend, with a family friend. And what the insinuation is coming from the House Republicans who run the House Oversight Committee is that these were ill-gotten gains coming from the relationship that this friend of Hunter Biden had with a Chinese energy company. As far as a reaction or response from Hunter Biden, his attorney released a statement saying that there was nothing that was improper or illegal or unethical about these payments. This was based upon a business relationship that Hunter Biden had with this family friend, and this was part of what the lawyer called seed money as it relates to that business relationship.
And speaking of President Biden, he's demanding the Chinese owners of TikTok sell their stake in the social media app, or they risk a ban in the U.S. Why this ultimatum?
Well, the ultimatum is coming because of security concerns as it relates to TikTok. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. There are those who allege that this Chinese company has very close ties to the Chinese Communist Party. And as a result, the FBI director says that he would not put TikTok on his personal devices because of security concerns that China could get access, for instance, to the data contained on his personal devices. So this ultimatum is being made to TikTok, which is either divest yourself of your Chinese ownership, or we will ban TikTok in the U.S. TikTok has 100 million users just in the U.S. alone, but it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays itself out and whether indeed TikTok buckles to this pressure coming from the Biden administration.
All right, Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent John Decker. Always good to see you, John. Thank you.
Charges have been filed against 4 Honolulu police officers in connection to a 2021 crash that left 6 people seriously or critically injured. Officers Joshua Nahulu, Jake Bartolome, Eric Smith, and Robert Lewis III were arrested and charged with felonies. Nahulu faces the most serious charge of allegedly causing a crash involving death or serious bodily injury. The 3 officers were charged with hindering prosecution. Nahulu, Smith, and Bartolome reportedly chased a sedan without their blue lights and sirens on. The high-speed crash and its aftermath were captured by the officers' body cameras as well as nearby surveillance cameras from a city bus. The pursuit started after the officers were dispatched to look into a noise complaint at Maili Beach Park. The sedan being chased crashed into a field, flipped over a wall, and landed on its side. One teen was paralyzed but has since been able to regain motion through physical therapy. Another teen lost his eye. The family of one of the passengers tells us the charges are a wave of relief.
Why did it have to take this long? You know, it's going on 2 years, and only now officers are being charged. People are being held accountable for their actions.
Last month, the city reached a tentative multi-million-dollar settlement with 4 of the injured passengers. The other 2 have pending lawsuits.
Some of the nation's top military leaders met yesterday to discuss major issues, including the Red Hill defueling plan. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin met with Secretary of the Navy, the Secretary of the Air Force, the Indo-PACOM commander, and the Joint Task Force Red Hill commander. We're told the defueling plan remains on track to begin defueling in February and be completed by June. Secretary Austin was also briefed on the diesel spill at the summit of Haleakala. The military released only a broad overview of the meeting, and no other details were provided.
Police are ramping up enforcement on Maui's North Shore. This stems from an uptick in crime in the Paia area. In November, there was a brazen smash and grab at high-tech surf sports store on Baldwin Avenue. Since then, police have increased their foot patrols, but still, some workers in the area would like to see more.
I'd like to see more police presence just because I feel like it's a deterrent from basically like people defecating in the street and things like that. And public intoxication.
When you're walking, you really get that different feel. You can pick up on a lot of other things. It really does make a really big difference.
The pilot program launched in January. It could become permanent if they get more manpower.
The International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin, accusing him of being responsible for war crimes committed against Ukrainian children taken over the Russian border. Astrid Martinez has more.
The International Criminal Court has issued a warrant for the arrest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Hague-based court says Putin is allegedly responsible for the war crime of unlawful deportation of children from occupied areas of Ukraine to the Russian Federation. The ICC judges also issued a warrant against Russia's Commissioner for Children's Rights, accusing her of similar crimes.
The judges have reviewed the information and evidence submitted by the prosecutor and determined that there are credible allegations against these persons for the alleged crimes.
The court's president said it will be up to the international community to enforce the warrants, which is not likely. Moscow has denied the accusations and dismissed the move, while Ukraine welcomed it as a major breakthrough. Earlier this week, an unmanned U.S. drone crashed into the Black Sea after a mid-air confrontation with Russian fighter jets. Nora O'Donnell spoke with the Navy's top officer for 60 minutes this Sunday.
What happened with that drone over the Black Sea was unsafe, and it was unprofessional, and it was in violation of international law.
Against that backdrop, Chinese President Xi plans to visit Moscow for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine. The U.S. has expressed concern China is considering providing lethal aid to Russia. Poland and Slovakia, meanwhile, have committed to sending fighter jets to Kyiv, the first time NATO allies have agreed to provide jets to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Astrid Martinez, CBS News.
A third major drug producer announced it would cap its costs for insulin. Sanofi says the out-of-pocket cost of its most popular insulin product, Lantus, will be capped at $35 per month for those with private insurance. That's the same price as Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. The company says it will also lower the list price of Lantus by 78% and its short-acting insulin, Apidra, by 70% to help those customers with high deductibles. Those changes will take effect January 1st, 2024. And Sanofi already offers a $35 monthly cap for people without insurance. Together, the three drug makers make up roughly 90% of the insulin market in the U.S. New rules to help keep Waikiki Beach clean and safe went into effect earlier this month, but actual enforcement of the rules begins today. Casey Lund has more.
Aloha from Waikiki Beach. It is spring break and it is a busy week here at the state's most popular tourist destination. I want to talk about that rule change. It comes from the Waikiki Beach Special Improvement District. Essentially, they want to close the beach from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., a 3-hour period. And we're talking about the stretch from the Moana Surfrider down to the Royal Hawaiian. And you can see there are tents down there where people were sleeping overnight. We went down there earlier this morning and I want to show some video from that at 4:30, well before the 5 o'clock close-off time for that rule change. And today was supposed to be the day that HPD was going to begin enforcing that rule change. We didn't see much of that. We did see several people, as you can see, sleeping on the beach there. Again, this was around 4:30 this morning. We reached out to the Waikiki Improvement Association as well as HPD to see if they are going to begin enforcing those rules, but we also wanted to talk to the houseless individuals that call Waikiki home. Many of them sleep in that section of the beach from time to time. We asked them how they felt about those kinds of rule changes.
I say come down and see how big of a problem it really is. Everyone goes to bed and sleeps. Just like people with houses, they go to bed and sleep. They're down here on the beach sleeping. I really don't see the big problem. They need to figure out where to house people, and they need to do it. Everyone talks about it. The governor wants more money. The mayor has money. Everyone has money. They're all talking about it, but they're not putting people in housing.
As far as a permanent thing, some of them don't want a permanent place to live. I don't know why. I would love a permanent place to live.
We also spent the day down here talking to residents, people that live in Waikiki. A lot of the people I talked to say that those policy and rule changes are all well and good and they're welcome. But the bigger issue is what to do with those houseless individuals after they're kicked off the beach. They say they often end up on the sidewalks here in Waikiki or other places like Diamond Head at Triangle Park. They say the city and the state needs to do a better job of managing those people and offering them the services they need to eventually get off the streets and end their cycle of homelessness. Reporting in Waikiki, I'm Casey Lund for now. We'll send things back to you.
Two of Governor Green's top appointees faced grueling confirmation hearings. One won a committee's approval. The other appears to be headed for rejection. Hawaiian Homelands appointee Cully Watson, a former DHHL director and nonprofit developer, had faced questions about a potential conflict of interest, but he handled 4 hours of testimony and questions with detailed plans to get people quickly into homesteads.
When I reflected on how much more I know about the development business and how the knowledge could help my services chair, I saw an opportunity to restructure the department's suboptimal systems, take advantage of my relationships with different organizations, and more importantly, I felt a duty to rise to the challenge.
The Hawaiian Affairs Committee voted 4-1 to recommend Watson for confirmation by the full Senate.
Meanwhile, the appointment of Chris Sarayasu to run the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism appears to be headed for defeat. He struggled to answer senators' questions about plans for tourism contracts and the redevelopment of Aloha Stadium. The Senate Tourism Committee voted 4-1 to recommend he not be confirmed by the full Senate.
Take a look at the celebration happening at Thomas Square in Honolulu today. This lei draping ceremony celebrates the birth of Kauikeaoli, also known as Kamehameha III. Put on by the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts, the festival featured the Royal Hawaiian Band, Na Keiki o Punanaleo o Manoa, and other community groups. Ho'okupu were presented at his statue, which commemorates his legacy as a monarch. Under his rule, the Hawaiian Kingdom became a constitutional monarchy, and the branches of government were reorganized with defined powers. Kauikeaoli is also known as the monarch to whom Laho'iho'i'ea, or Sovereignty Restoration Day, is attributed.
All right, new at noon, we have a consumer alert to pass along. Frozen strawberries sold at select Costco locations, including here in Hawaii, are being recalled over a hepatitis A outbreak. California Splendor Inc. of San Diego is recalling certain lots of 4-pound bags of the Kirkland Signature Frozen Organic Strawberries. Now, the products were also sold at Costco stores in Los Angeles and 2 San Diego business centers. According to the recall, hepatitis A has not been detected on the product, but consumers should stop consuming the food and return it to their local Costco for a refund. We have a full list of the lot numbers being recalled on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com, and we checked our bags at home and we are okay. So make sure you check those lot numbers on the back.
Awesome. And again, all of that is posted on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Let's also go outside now, live to Waikiki. This is a live look at the intersection of Kalakaua Avenue and Lure Street, where the 55th annual Waikiki St. Patrick's Day Parade is making its way through town. 800 participants, including marching bands, military groups, students, and community organizations, are taking part in this year's parade. Now, it's expected to run about 90 minutes, and they just started at the top of the hour, so a lot of fun stuff going on out there, and it is a beautiful day. For more on your island weather, let's send it over to Guy Hagi.
So we're not going to see a whole lot of rain over the weekend. If anything, because of the light winds, we'll get some pop-up showers. And then on Sunday, that's when disturbance comes in a little bit closer. But the model's backing off on the severity of the rain. We're not going to see a whole lot of rain. But after Sunday, some of that will break up and we'll see some scattered showers here and there. But again, we're not expecting a significant rainfall event, although Kauai are likely to get more showers than anybody else over the next, say, 4 or 5 days. So your 7-day forecast is actually looking pretty good. But keep in mind, because we got corner winds through the weekend, it's going to be a little bit hazy at times. We'll get morning sunshine, afternoon clouds, and a few afternoon showers, maybe even some spotty downpours. But again, widespread rain not expected. That front's going to move in over Kauai on Sunday, and then we'll see a few scattered showers through Wednesday. Looks to be a little bit cloudier, a little bit more shower activity on Wednesday, then cloudy but drier on Thursday. And look, we're not going to see trade winds anytime soon. Maybe if we're lucky, a brief return of trade winds coming in on Wednesday. So all in all, a pretty nice Aloha Friday, St. Patrick's Day, although again, it's going to be a little bit smoky and sticky.
Rainbow Wahine basketball team are taking on LSU as we speak in the NCAA tournament. Let me refresh my computer. The score right now, 29-19 LSU. There is about 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Now, our Kauchinen is on the road with the team in Baton Rouge, and he filed this report earlier.
It's game day for the Rainbow Wahine basketball team. Aloha, everybody. Coming to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I am outside the Pete Maravich Activity Center on the campus of LSU, the site for tonight's opening round of the NCAA tournament, in a matchup that sees the Rainbow Wahine take on the LSU Tigers. Now, the Bows will have their hands full with the Tigers as they boast one of the highest scoring offenses in college basketball. They're scoring about 80 points per game on average, led by All-American Angel Reese. But the Bows aren't backing down. That's been their mentality all season long. They started the year at 1-7, made it back to the Big West Championship to win it and get into the big dance. So they're not backing down. They're also looking to make a little bit of history. Now, this is their second straight appearance in the NCAA tournament, but they've only won once, and that came all the way back in the 90s. But UH is going to need a big offensive night from their 2 point guards, Lili Wahine Kapu and Deja Phillips, if they plan to keep pace with the Tigers. But be sure to stick with Hawaii News Now, as I'll have all the highlights and post-game interviews on air and online. For now, reporting from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Kyle Chinen, Hawaii News Now.
Time to take a look at what's coming down from the feeds, and of course today is St. Patrick's Day. This is what the celebration looked like in Dublin, Ireland today. According to History.com, the Irish have observed this day as a religious holiday for over 1,000 years. On St. Patrick's Day, which falls during the Christian season of Lent, Irish families would traditionally attend church in the morning and celebrate in the afternoon. Lenten prohibitions against the consumption of meat were waived, and people would dance, drink, and feast on the traditional meal of Irish bacon and cabbage. And as you can see, it's a great time out there in Ireland. Thousands line the street in Dublin for the massive celebration.
Can you imagine celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Ireland?
I cannot. I mean, that just looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to keep in mind if we're wanting to travel in the near future.
Well, here in the U.S., check this out. The White House got into the festive spirit for the holiday. It's widely known to be one of President Biden's favorites as he celebrates his Irish heritage. To commemorate St. Patrick's Day, the White House turned the water in the fountain at the front green, and President Biden is also hosting the Prime Minister of Ireland for a bilateral meeting, and both will attend a Friends of Ireland lunch at the Capitol. The President and First Lady will also host a shamrock presentation and reception at the White House, complete with a performance by an Irish singer and former One Direction band member Niall Horan.
Fun. What would be even more fun is turning the White House into a greenhouse, whether it be painting or lights. I don't know. Just, yeah, you know, can't imagine repainting the whole White House, but that'd be fun even if just for a day. I also want to play for you guys. You know, Ashley, did you watch Song Contest last week?
I did a little bit.
Did you catch Ho'ike?
I did not.
Oh,
but
girl,
I heard about it.
you
I heard
missed
about
out.
this kid.
Yes, everyone is still talking about this. Just take a listen.
Serve it.
Oh, look at that. He brought down the house. Everyone was on their feet. That is 13-year-old Kamehameha III. He may be just 13, but he is beyond his years. He is an 8th grader from Kamehameha Schools Kapalama, originally from Hawaii. Now, I know he works with Meleapana a lot. That's practically, you know, his motto. And if he's taking any performance notes from her, it's that over-the-top kind of just serving and giving. And so he was asked to be a part of this Ho'ike performance. The theme was Paniolo, and he just served it. He played, he started off nice and slow with the ukulele, and then at one point he just took the microphone off and just gave it his all. Here's what he had to say about that performance.
To see everybody so happy and reacting to this moment on stage, it brought me joy, because that's why I do music. I do music to make people happy and to bring joy into the world and to Hawaii. And so to see everybody being happy and being joyful and connecting to this mele as well while I was channeling Uncle Saul, it just reminded me of all my kupuna and what they all did.
And I think for
and
Kamahao,
that is
he
what we call some true passion, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on This Is Now. Have a great day. Aloha.